must be the place. Professor Ubier's house.
Looks pretty creepy. I'd been away from Paris and hadn't seen Nico for nearly 6 months. I wanted to celebrate our reunion, but she had other plans. An appointment with an archaeologist. Something to do with a Mayan stone she came across while researching the story. The guy who answered the door didn't look much like an archaeologist to me. I had a bad feeling about this.
So much going on. A huge spider crawling on the floor. George, get away from it! Okay, you're able to get your close to a bookcase there. But the spider is closing in. Ah, we can finally move. Ah, spider, let's look at it.
There were things I didn't like about spiders. The way they looked, the way they moved, and the fact that they lived on the same planet as me. This spider was big, mean, and hairy, and definitely not a native of Europe.
So what are we waiting for? Let's kill it! Oh, we're not gonna stomp on it. So, what else can we do? Let's look at this bookcase here.
I glanced over the books, vaguely hoping to find a copy of How to Deal with Poisonous Spiders While Tied to a Chair. No such luck. But I noticed one corner of the bookcase was supported by a loose block of wood.
Loose block of wood? Let's look at the loose block of wood.
The block of wood had been used to replace the original foot of the bookcase.
I know. That block of wood, if we kick that off, that bookcase is gonna fall down straight on that big, nasty, ugly spider. Let's get rid of it. Hey-o!
Maybe I'd been a little heavy-handed, but it was a question of survival. Of course, I was still tied to a chair in a burning house with no means of escape.
Alright, at least the spider is dead. Hello everyone and welcome to the JLR YouTube podcast. I changed the name from last year. And this is the first episode of Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror. I was almost going to say the Shadow of the Templars. No, Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review. So I'm finally doing it again. I did this last year, exactly almost a year ago. It was like June 2nd, 2021. And now a year after, 1 year later, I'm gonna do the same thing with Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror. Folks, there was so much happening at the beginning of this video, and obviously you will see this. And this time around, I used to do a video, not only a video review, but also I was doing a podcast. So I was also doing an audio version of this game, which was, quite the experiment. But this time, I'm no longer doing any other podcast apps or any. It's everything that I do from now on is on YouTube. Maybe if I play games on Twitch, that might happen. But anyways, the podcast it's now a YouTube podcast. Everything is on YouTube. Although I feel like, even though it's on YouTube, because I don't know about you guys, I actually do listen to a lot of the video podcasts. Like, I know it's a video podcast you can watch, but I sometimes just go out for a walk and put the phone in my pocket and listen to the podcast, even though you can see there's a video. But I'm that type of guy, and I want to believe there are other people that do that. So I'll try to do the same thing as I did last time, which was give like kind of audio perspective. Yeah, kind of. Describe the game. What's going on? Not only let you see the have it only visual, but also make sure you know what's happening if you're not watching it. Maybe it's gonna be too much. I don't know. Who gives a shit? This is just for me and my friends, I suppose. But anyways, so this is the first episode, and oh my god, so much happened there at the beginning. I couldn't even start the episode in a normal way because I have to do the first part of the game, which is to kill that big ass nasty spider that was in front of us. And why is there a spider there? Well, let's start. What the hell are we? What are we even doing here? What is this? If you've never seen Broken Sword, well, Broken Sword 2 is obviously a sequel. Why am I saying it in that way? A sequel to Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars, and which is one of my favorite games of all time. And here we are again, a year later, playing the sequel, Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror. Why the Smoking Mirror? Well, you'll find out. But we're still playing as the character George Stobart, who is now, as you can see, tied. His hands are tied behind a chair, and the room is burning. You can hear the sound of the fire in the back, but don't worry about it. We're in no rush to take out that fire. This is video game territory. We don't have to actually, we don't have to tend to the fire that quickly. But okay. Anyways, I was gonna try to stop rambling at the beginning of all of these podcast shows, but who am I kidding? I have like severe attention disorder, whatever. What was I gonna say? Okay, yeah. George Stobart. We're playing him again, and this is you could hear in the beginning. These events are happening. I mean, at least more than a half a year after the first game, because he left Nico in Paris. And I'm not going to talk about, I'll talk about things that happened in the first game in between, but if you want a summary of what happened in game 1, I'm not going to do it now. Just watch my review and walkthrough of Broken Sword, The Shadow of the Templars. But anyways, I'll just keep it simple, right? George Stobart, he saved the world with Nico when they took down the Neo-Templars that were trying to, what was it? Reforge the Broken Sword, which was actually not a sword. It was like this power site in Scotland under a church. Idol with 3 hitches, basically. Never mind. Like I said, I'm not gonna, I gave away the plot, actually. And I didn't even give a spoiler alert. But, okay. And you shouldn't be even watching this. Why aren't you watching the first one then? If you're watching, I'm going to start with Broken Sword 2. No! If you haven't seen the Broken Sword first one, the Shadow of the Templars walkthrough review, watch that now! It's too late! I didn't give a spoiler warning. Anywho. Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror. So half a year, he had to leave Nico for half a year, hadn't seen her for 6 months, finally comes back to Paris, but she wants to meet this Professor Ubiet about some stones that she got, Mayan artifact. And when they arrived, there was this huge ass native. Okay, I gotta be careful now. He looks like a man who's native from Central America. Is that okay to say that? Say it like that, yeah. And he was a big guy who showed him upstairs, and then he took out George with the, I don't know, what do they call those, sacks or something? Anyways, he knocked him out, and then there was a smaller guy who looked also like a person that is native to Central America. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not going to use any other terms that are considered not okay. Okay. Anyways, he took him out. He took out Nico with a blow. With the dart gun? No. Yeah. Blow dart. Right. Dart that you put in a blow dart. And yeah. Knocked out Nico with that blow dart, and then they left. They left George in this house that is burning with a big, huge ass spider, probably from Central America or South America. I'm not sure, but quite the plan. Those two decided we're gonna have him burned alive in this house, but we're gonna make sure he'll suffer a venomous bite from a spider first. It's an odd way to kill someone off. If they just had a gun, just kill. End of story. No more broken sword. But no, they gave us a chance to save ourselves. Save ourselves. I'm still talking about me and George like we're a team here. Anyways, so that's what happened. Here we are in this apartment here. Look, there's a hook on the wall.
The bookcase had been anchored to the wall by a protruding metal bracket. It had sheared off as the bookcase had fallen, leaving a jagged edge.
I thought it looked more like a hook, but okay. So I think this is what we're gonna have to use to, well, get away from... Well, first, release us from the chair, take the rope off.
With one mighty bound, our hero was free. Now, I had to deal with that fire.
Now, let's try to do something, try to do something about that fire that's on fire. That's a fire. Fuck. Okay, here's the dart. The dart I just talked about.
It was a needle-sharp dart with a flight of green and yellow feathers.
Let's pick up the darts.
That dart was sharper than a mosquito's business end, but this didn't deter me from getting it anyway.
All right. So it's we have the same great actor for George Stobart, Rolf Saxon, and he's been the staple in this the entire series, all of the Broken Sword games. The problem is though, is Nico. There's always been a different Nico, and I honestly don't know why they changed actors. But then again, the Nico in the first game is not actually my favorite Nico. It's actually the one in the third game, but.
It was Nico's bag.
There's Nico's bag that she dropped when she was knocked out. Let's pick up the things in the bag.
It was a stylish little canvas number containing a lipstick, a handwritten note, and a pair of nylon panties with a large love heart emblazoned across the front. It occurred to me that Nico's tastes must have really changed while I was away. Well, they could be useful.
Weird panties. So we can see the So this is the difference from Broken Sword. What now? The items are all here at the bottom of the screen, not on the top. So like we have a note here, we have the lipstick that was in the back, and then these very exotic panties. Right. So let's look at what else. Well, there's the fire, obviously. How are we gonna get rid of that fire? Here's the box where the spider was in.
It was the box that spider had crawled from. I wasn't going to touch the box after that spider had been inside it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I'm a little bit afraid. Is the music too loud? It might be. Maybe we should... Oh, okay. I think this is fair. The music can be so loud at times. Press OK. Flames, everything's in flames.
Fire had taken hold and ignited part of the polished wooden floorboards.
Okay, so we're not gonna get to the door. What about the cat?
In the cabinet's wooden door was a very small keyhole.
Can we open the cabinet? No.
The cabinet was locked.
It is locked. There is a...
It was a soda fountain, perfect for mixing with drinks or squirting at clowns.
Oh, if we could use that to squirt something on the fire, then nothing came out of it.
There was no pressure in the siphon. I guess it was out of gas.
Out of gas? Well, we're gonna need some gas. All right, but we're not able to open that for now. I feel like I forgot to say something, but never mind. Maybe, you know, I'll remember.
The bureau had a sliding lid.
Let's look at this writing bureau and see if there's something there.
Inside, I found a bottle of tequila.
Bottle of tequila?
It was a half bottle of extra strong Mexican tequila. Just what I needed under the circumstances.
Do we need it? Sure, why not? Let's drink it.
Normally, I didn't drink strong spirits, but today was far from normal.
Inside a burning house drinking tequila.
Ew. Disgusting. Not only did the tequila burn like hell, I just managed to stop myself from swallowing the worm.
There was a worm in the tequila?
What looked like a little shriveled wiener lay on the carpet. Thankfully, it was only the worm from the tequila bottle.
Ooh. Well, if
Well,
we can pick it up.
I wasn't going to eat it. But life had taught me one thing. No matter how unlikely it seems, the strangest objects have their uses. Even tequila worms.
Maybe, but we're not gonna open the cabinet with a tequila worm. There's a drawer as well.
It was a closed drawer.
Let's open it.
In the drawer was a small decorated pot.
You found a pot. All right. So, George, where are we off to now? We have all these different things, but there seems to be nothing. There seems to be nothing that can open this cabinet. Or is there? This is a really sharp thing.
It was
right?
the poison dart which had stunned Nico. I'd never known anything keep her quiet so effectively.
Well, I guess so. We can probably try to pry the cabinet open, I suppose. Wow.
As I released the lock, something blew the doors open.
What on earth blew up the doors? Let's see. There's a burst cylinder.
It was a small cylinder which seemed to have exploded.
Oh,
I couldn't think of a use for a burst cylinder.
we don't need burst cylinder. But then there's a normal cylinder here?
It was a small metal cylinder.
All right, let's pick it up.
That cylinder was hot. I couldn't pick it up with my bare hands.
Damn, we're not gonna be able to pick it up. Okay, so what do we do then? Well, let's look at the things that we have here. I don't suppose we can pick it up with the piece of paper? No? Can we pick it up with the sexy panties?
The panties I'd found in Nico's bag were just what I needed to wrap around the hot cylinder.
Oh my. All right, so we have the cylinder now. I'm guessing it contains gas. So let's see if we can fill up this iPhone. And he's putting gas in it.
The cylinder
happened?
gave out a faint hiss as the valve opened.
Oh,
Now I had one primed up and ready to use extinguisher.
extinguisher on the flames. Let's make sure it is. Yep.
With a well-aimed squirt of his soda fountain, our unshakable hero saved the day. Now it was time to start looking for Nico.
It is, although that is not really realistic. The thing with the flame just staying there in one spot. Right. So the only thing blocking us now is this door.
The door blocked my only means of escape.
All right. Let's then see if we can open it.
I wasn't going to burn myself on that red-hot doorknob, and it
Okay.
wasn't the time for subtlety.
Okay. Oh, so we just kick the door. Kick the door out. Oh, never mind. Now we're here downstairs. There are two doors.
The front door was made of hard wood, supported by a sturdy frame.
There's the front door, and then
The
several
door led to some
doors.
other part of Ubier's mansion.
Here's mansion. There's a phone,
It was Ubier's telephone.
telephone, and we also have this news.
It was a folded clipping taken from a newspaper.
Okay, shall we look at the newspaper real quick?
I'd found a piece of newspaper folded in two.
Okay.
It referred to a forthcoming eclipse of the sun. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be visible from Europe. The best place to view the eclipse would be Mexico.
Mexico in Central America. Interesting. I'm getting so I now I completely remember what I forgot to mention. Like I said, you saw it visually, but if you want the audio explanation as well, while the scene of George and Nico, there was the cutscene of them heading towards Ubir's house and then being allowed to enter the house, but then George being knocked out and Nico taken out by the blow dart and all. But during those cutscenes, they kept cutting to this forest and an Aztec temple, and there was definitely a human sacrifice being made there. Well, there was this weird figure with a weird mask, and the man, and then two guards leading a man up the stairs of the pyramid, and then he being laid down on a sacrificial table, I suppose, or whatever it's called, and then had some dagger, and it seems like you only saw the silhouette of the shadow, but like in the end, it seemed like he pulled out the guy's heart out. So that though you have those weird cutscenes in between, that has nothing to do with what happened here in Ubir's house, but if you wanted that audio visualization. Do we really need it, honestly? Well, no, I'll do it anyway if you're listening. If you're listening, I hope you're happy. Okay. So we have these two doors. Obviously, we want to go outside, right? Front door.
The door was locked. I didn't fancy my chances of kicking this door down.
Probably much stronger, right? Can we use the same trick as before with the darts?
The tiny point was only of use for picking small locks.
I see. So we're not going to be able to do it this way. So what on earth can we do? Well, like I said, this is a walkthrough and review, so I'm not actually just playing the game. I already know how to do all these puzzles, but for those who are having trouble getting through them, I offer thee my services on YouTube for you to use my walkthrough to, if you feel you're stuck in the game, and get through these puzzles. Anyways, folks, in this game, what happens often now is that not only do you pick up things, but you have to kind of examine them because they have some hidden secrets with them. That really never happened in the first game. I'm pretty sure most of the things that you picked up, you didn't have to examine them to see something else. Usually you would just show the items to someone and then you would get a clue or something would be noticed. I don't really recall picking up items and then looking at them and finding something within them or through them. But in this game, just right from the get-go, at least 3-4 items are like that. You have to examine them once, and then you actually get a better understanding of what it is or what's hidden within the item. So, for example, how the hell are we going to get out of here? Well, you remember this pot? Let's look at the pot. Examine the pot.
The pot contained a key.
There you have it. That's the key to get outside. Now, this is not the first time this is going to happen, but I'm not going to do all the other items yet. So let's first just open the door with the key. All right.
I unlocked the door.
We unlocked the door, so shall we go outside?
Without a plan, I had nowhere to go.
Oh.
Maybe there was something in the house which would give me a clue where Nico had been taken.
Oh. So, again, we don't have any leads on where Nico has been taken. We need to find out where and how do we get to her. So, again, we need to examine something better. Nico, we only knew that she wanted to meet with this Professor Ubir about this stone, right? But nothing else has been told to us yet. Nothing in the intro, at least. So we went through a bag and we found those really pretty. We found the lipstick and very sexy panties, and then this note. Well, shall we try to read through the note and see if we get any more information?
I guess I had no business reading the note,
That is
but I
true.
figured it might give me a clue to what Nico was involved in. It was from Andre Labineau, the history student Nico had known at college. The letter was sentimental mush, and revealed that the exotic lingerie, as he called it, was a gift from him. It gave his telephone number. Labineau figured himself as a rival for Nico's affections, but I couldn't believe that creep was in the running.
He's not in the running, George. Don't worry about it. That creep, the gall, he's moving on. He's moving into George's territory. He goes away for half a year, and then he tries to pick up Nico after the two of them saved the world. He did help. He gave us a lot of information, but he is a creepy guy. And he would be cancelled all over today if he was behaving the way he behaves. Oh, those panties are just dreadful. So, does that mean we need to contact Andre Labineau? Telephone number.
Much as I disliked him, Labineau might be my only hope of finding Nico.
I think that's the only option. We're gonna have to call Labineau. Ugh. Find out.
Hi, Andre?
Who is this?
It's George Stobart, Nico's boyfriend.
Don't you mean ex-boyfriend?
Look, I didn't call you just to pick a fight. I need to talk to you about Nico.
Can't you accept she's just not interested in you?
Not that.
Listen, Andre, we need to talk. Nico's life depends on it.
Okay. You remember the cafe at Montfaucon?
Sure. Andre? You'd better show, you creep. I felt an irrational urge to wipe my ear.
Yeah, it is probably too creepy to listen to his voice. Again, with the music, I know I do like the music, but it's just too loud. I'm sorry about that. Anyways, so I said I was not gonna really mention things from Shadows of the Templars. I mean, if you want to know more about that game, just watch my videos on that game. Like I should have said after a spoiler warning or something, giving up the last part of the fucking game. Never mind. But okay, I'll mention things that did happen in Broken Sword: The Shadow of the Templars that are connected to what's going to happen here in Broken Sword 2, The Smoking Mirror. So we're going to the cafe at Montfaucon. Montfaucon was where we found the secret place for the Neo Templars. It was under the sewer there, and there was this gendarme, a police officer that kept us from getting down there. But then when he left, we were finally able to uncover that. Get into the sewers by opening the manhole. Still disgusting, right? Manhole. And then we already unlocked the door, yeah. And then, as I said, found the secret hideout for...
I wasn't looking forward to meeting Labineau again, but he was my only link with Nico.
New Templars. Okay, let's go meet Labineau at Montfaucon. There it is, and it's almost picture perfect. Colors are a little bit different.
There was no sign of Labineau when I got to the cafe. I decided to order a coffee and wait for him.
Excuse me, I'm talking over George here. I will try to make sure I won't talk over when he is saying something interesting. So here's the Church of Montfaucon. We went in there. We found the remains of Don Carlos, the knight that was missing from the Spanish family, the Vasconcelos. And also there was a huge clue inside the church as well. But again, you want to know more about that? Watch the Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars videos. Anyways, so here we are, and there's some guy here. Who is this?
The man at the next table looked somehow familiar.
Somehow familiar? Oh, you think we might know him? Let's talk to him.
Pardon me, but don't I know you?
Huh?
You were here the day I found the catacombs.
I was?
Catacombs in the
Ah,
sewers.
yes. I remember you.
Yeah. Are you still in the police force?
No, not anymore. I'm a man of leisure. And what brings you back to Paris?
Okay, so a man of leisure. This is the gendarme, the police officer. So, but he's no longer a police officer. What brings her back to Paris? Well, when I did Shadow of the Templars, I always said the honest answers. So, what are the answers? Nico or Lopino? Who on earth? I honestly, the Revolution Software, everyone, Charles Cecil, who made this game, who on earth thought, yeah, if we put Lopino as an option here, someone's gonna choose that instead of Nico? Just mind-boggling. The first strike against this game. No, obviously we're here for Nico. Come on, what the hell?
My girlfriend.
What it is to be young and in love.
Yeah.
Will you share a bottle of wine with me?
Hey, listen, I'd love to, but I need to keep a clear head.
So my company isn't good enough for you.
He didn't really mean it that way, but so we can ask about him. We can ask about a lot of things here. Do I ask about him?
Why did you leave the police?
I was forced to retire. The golden handshake. Only in my case, it was more copper than gold.
How come?
I was made a scapegoat to cover up the department's inefficiencies.
Inefficiency? What happened? I wonder. Who is this guy with the top hat?
Have you ever heard of a Professor Oubier?
No, monsieur. I don't recall the name.
Well, apparently he's an expert on Mayan art and history.
A little out of my field of experience, monsieur. If he'd been a serial killer or a sodomite, I might have been able to help.
And then he just kind of stopped the conversation. I wonder why. We're maybe not supposed to spend all this time talking to him, but there's a waiter here.
The waiter's stained and crumpled clothes looked as if they'd been slept in. I decided not to bother with a meal.
Not to bother with a meal. Does that mean we're gonna have coffee instead? We can go inside.
It was too hot to sit inside the cafe.
Too
Besides, I might miss Lobino.
All right. Shall we talk to the waiter? He's feeling-
garçon.
What?
He ignored me. I'm sure it was deliberate.
Filled up the guy's glass with red wine, but then he ignored it. What's this?
It was a small silver flask from which the man was topping up his glass.
So not only is he drinking red wine, but he also has a flask here with him. Shall we ask him about it? He got red wine and then he added it into the flask.
What's that you're drinking?
It's wine.
Only that? Okay. We can ask him about the dart.
What do you make of this dart?
I remember a case where the victim was killed with just such a device. The poison acted in seconds, causing his body to swell up like an inflatable life raft.
Okay. Notice that items used to be up on the top of the screen, which meant we could ask freely about all items that we were carrying to any characters in the old Broken right? Shadow of the Templars. And often they would have responses, and sometimes it was vital for for some puzzles to plot to move on. But sometimes even they would have absolutely no responses, or not even. George would just say, "Nah, no, not going to talk about it." But this time it's been decided. There's only certain items you can talk about, and there are certain items you cannot even ask about. So it's kind of easier that way to know, okay, these are the only things I can talk about, but that means there are probably not as many puzzles now with you trying to find out like who can talk more about this item, who can give me actually where I can actually advance in the game with this item and whatever. Anyways, let's talk about
What do you make
the
of this
newspaper.
news cutting?
Orphanage supplied fast food chain?
No, it's the article above that.
Oh! Total eclipse of the sun. Well, that's very dull in comparison. I don't know anything about eclipses.
Total eclipse of the sun. Or was it heart? The total eclipse of the heart, yeah. Never mind. There's this note.
Tell me what you make of this note.
From my years of experience, I gained a pretty good insight into handwriting. I'd say that note was written by a compulsive, obsessive type with an Oedipus complex.
Yeah, he's talking about Lobino.
Hey, you've got just about everything apart from the ponytail.
Nice. Well, we have nothing really else to say. We couldn't actually ask him about the flask. He just said he was drinking wine. That's about it. Could we pick up the flask?
I couldn't snatch the man's flask while he was looking.
While he was looking. All right. So if he's looking at us, we couldn't pick up the flask. Okay, here's the waiter. Let's try to talk to him again.
Hey, you.
Quoi?
I'd like a cup of coffee if you don't mind.
When I finish serving this gentleman.
You're finished serving him. Just, all right. He went straight back into the cafe. Is this a point on how rude the waiters are in France? I've heard that many times. Well, here's a cup of coffee. Bringing it to us. All right.
Un café.
Coffee.
Thanks.
Cafe. Interesting. So it would be like coffee. All right, never mind. So we can ask about a lot of things. I guess we can. The main thing, we're here waiting for Lobino. So should we ask about Lobino?
Do you know a guy called André Lobino?
Oui, I know him. What of it?
Well, I'm supposed to meet him here. Did I miss him?
No, I have not seen him today.
All right. So he knows of him, but he's not been here today. We can ask about the flask. Is that okay to have that flask? And just...
What does that guy keep pouring out of his flask?
Absinthe.
Absinthe? I thought that was highly dangerous and outlawed in France.
It is. Don't look at me, I didn't sell it to him.
Yeah, you're not. You can tell him to not do that, right? Aren't you allowed to say, "Hey, look, you're not supposed to bring your own alcohol to our cafe. Mix it with our red wine." Well, never mind. Shall we ask about the old guy?
Do you know that man over there?
I should think so. He's a regular customer.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Doesn't know anything about Professor.
Have you heard
Oublier?
of Professor Oublier?
Oui. He married that actress, the little dachshund. They used to come here. The nutty professor and the movie star.
Well, hi! Nutty Jerry Lewis. Oh, you can go Jerry Lewis or Eddie Murphy. I'm not gonna try any more of these silly, stupid, really bad impersonation. I tried to do Jesse Ventura last year. So Jerry Lewis, I'll just skip that. This actress.
If Oubier's wife was a movie star, how come I never heard of her?
She was big in France. The world doesn't stop at Hollywood. Her stage name was Carol Climax. She died in suspicious circumstances.
Carol Climax. What kind of a name is that? She died? What happened?
How did Oubier's wife die?
I heard he shot her.
And got away with it?
He had a good lawyer and a watertight alibi.
He might have killed his wife? Let's ask more about Oubier.
Why would an eminent
Oubier.
public figure like Oubier risk everything for murder?
He wouldn't be the first, would he? Besides, people like him always get off.
Sure, yeah, Oubier, OJ. People like him. What's the name of the guy? Robert Blake? Yeah. The dart.
Look at this. A poison dart.
Ah oui, sure.
It's the real thing. Knocked my girlfriend out cold in a matter of seconds.
Romantic. Sounds like a real close relationship you have going.
It's not George who did it. Okay, we have nothing
That's
else
all.
to say.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. So what can we do next? Ah, here he comes. That slunky, goofy looking
this is a surprise, Georgie.
Lobino with his ponytail. I got rid of the ponytail because it looked like Lobino's.
I wouldn't normally call you,
Get a close-up of him?
but Nico's in trouble, Andre. Deep trouble. You have to help me find her.
What? What have you dragged her into this time?
It was you that recommended Professor Oubier as an expert on Mayan art. Now his butlers kidnapped her, and he tried to kill me.
Every time she gets involved with you, there is trouble. Walking out on her was the best thing you could do.
My father was dying, damn it. I had no choice.
Well, she soon recovered once she went back to her old friends.
Drop it, Andre. Right now, Nico's in danger, and we have to work together.
So, how can I help?
Nico needed to speak to Ubier about a stone.
Oh, you mean this stone?
Oh. There it is. He's showing him a stone.
So
There's a
that's what
figure
all
on
the
the
trouble's
stone?
about.
Precisely. Nicole told me to guard it with my life.
Well, it's worth more than that, surely.
Oh, very funny.
What's funny is that your life really is on the line.
What are you talking about?
The stone is a Mayan artifact, dummy. And the guy who kidnapped Nico is from Central America. It was the stone they were after.
Oh my god, you mean I could be in danger too?
So he is actually maybe regretting holding that stone, but all right. So that sleazeball. Ugh, we got a close up of the stone that Nico was gonna talk to Ubier about. She never had the stone. She decided to let Lopino keep it before he would point to his place. And maybe for a good reason, because obviously what happens and what ended up happening is he got kidnapped, but she didn't have the stone, thank God. So let's see, we can ask more about this stone.
What do you suppose the carving on the stone means?
I don't know. I haven't shown it to anyone.
Why don't you just give it to me?
I don't want your death on my conscience, George.
Does he really mean that? I don't think so. We can still ask about the stone. What is this stone all about? It's this is the reason why Nico's been kidnapped, so...
Where did Nico get the stone?
It was sent to her.
From where? Who?
I'm not sure I should tell you.
Oh, you should.
It was something to do with smuggling.
Smuggling? What on earth could that be? Can we ask about the Central American? I'm just gonna say the Central American.
Does Ubier employ a guy from Central America?
Maybe. I don't know.
You never been to his house? I thought you guys were pals.
Fellow academics, Georgie. It's not quite the same thing.
So he has no idea. Let's ask more about Ubier.
Why didn't Nico take the stone to Ubier?
I don't know. Perhaps she suspected something like this would happen.
If she's been hurt, Andre, I'll break every bone in your body.
No, that's typical of you. Do you think I don't care what happens to Nicole?
It occurred to me that slugs don't have bones to break, but I kept that thought to myself.
Good point. Probably doesn't, yeah. Probably doesn't have a bone in his body. So he's like a worm then. Let's talk about the worm.
What do you think this is, Andre?
I don't know.
I'll give you a clue. It's got more backbone than you.
You think you're amusing, don't you?
I'm gonna tell you for that worm, it was not necessary to pick him up. He's more of an Easter egg item in this game. And actually, in this game, there are more like Easter eggs than in the original the Shadows of the Templars game. So I'll show you the Easter eggs that I know of in the game. So he doesn't really seem to know Ubier. Ubier?
Tell me about your friend Ubier.
He's more of a professional acquaintance than a friend.
I see. So you don't really know him at all?
No, I don't.
Doesn't really know anything about him. The only option left is this pot that we found.
What can you tell me about this pot?
South or Central American, I'd say. I have a friend who'd be able to tell you more.
Where can I find this guy?
He owns a gallery on the left bank. The Glees Gallery.
The Glees Gallery. So we've gotten... so there's nothing else to ask Lopino. By the way, it's a different actor for Lopino. I'm pretty sure it's a different actor from Shadows of the Templars. It's definitely a different voice. Just like with Nico. So yeah, it's really only Rob Saxon who's from the original. The guy who's always been there. It's George. So let's just say goodbye to Lopino.
See you later.
Goodbye, Georgie.
Georgie? What an annoying nickname. What an annoying character. What's happening? Meanwhile, where are we going? What's going on here?
I've had enough of your games, Kala. Tell me what you've done with my stone.
I thought your business was simply smuggling cocaine, Karzak. Why are you so interested in that stone?
Either you tell me what I want to know, or Pablo here will make you talk.
Okay. Well, I figured someone at the university would be able to help. So I had a word with one of my girlfriends, and she told me her boyfriend was a lecturer. I sent the stone to the Department of Ethnology. You know, I figured it was South American, so... You're not buying this, are you?
That's enough! I don't have time to listen to your mindless prattle.
Karzak puts a tape
We'll
on
leave
her
you to
hand.
think it over. Come the morning, you'll be ready to talk.
All right, so we got a scene all of a sudden from a room where Nico was tied to a chair and she was talking to this Karzak, kind of with a general outfit on him. And the big guy was there, the one who kidnapped Nico and knocked out George. And his name is Pablo. And they were asking about the stone, but she was trying to feed them lies. But then she said, "You're not buying this." So then he said, "That's enough." Slapped some tape on her mouth so she wouldn't be able to talk. But they say they're gonna let her make her. They're gonna make her talk tomorrow. So that means we just saw this. We, as the player, know she's in trouble. George doesn't know, but we have to get to her as soon as possible. And I think this is the first episode, and I'm not. I mean, we're only a half. When did I start? I forgot to do the timer again, but let's see. At least, let's try to get as close to her as possible in this episode. We'll probably not save her, but as close as possible. So there's still the coffee.
I was
here.
sure I'd asked for cream in my coffee, but he brought me black.
So we just black coffee? He did ask for green. Did he?
The coffee was very bitter and only lukewarm. There was also an unpleasant coagulated lump at the bottom of the cup.
Lump?
The cup was empty apart from an unpleasant brown stain and a thick lump.
There's a big thick lump on the bottom. We'll talk to the waiter. Let's wait for him to come back outside. Let's complain. Excuse me, Gaston. Oh, there. Okay, we have to try again. There's just a lump in the coffee. What the hell?
You need anything else?
Let's complain.
There's
about the
something
coffee.
incubating in the bottom of my cup, Garçon.
You asked for it. That's the cream.
But it's all in one lump.
No problem. I'll bring you a fork.
Forget it.
That's the way they drink coffee. I don't even drink coffee. I'm a tea guy, so
That's all.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even have to worry about it. So there's still this flask here. I'm pretty sure we need it. So let's start talking to the guy. Well, let's ask more things about him.
Do you miss being a gendarme?
Yes, of course I do.
What happened?
When I wore that uniform, I commanded respect. Not anymore.
He's holding his face. So we can take the flask? Yes, he's holding he has his hands over
I
his
grabbed the
eyes.
flask and was struck by a powerful smell of absinthe, a highly potent and illegal alcoholic drink.
I see. Now all of a sudden we get the theme from Broken Sword, the Shadow of the Templars when he was in Ireland.
It was the flask of absinthe I'd borrowed from the gendarme.
You can check out the flashlights. All right, so we got that item out of the way. So, well, the Glee's Gallery is the only thing that's been told Lobino really.
Now I had another lead. I could either go back to Ubier's house or visit the Glee's Gallery.
So we could go back to Ubier's house if we forgot something there, but we didn't, so don't worry. So we can go to the Glee's Gallery. That's where Lobino said there might be a guy who can help us more with identifying that pot, for example. Let's see.
The Glee's Gallery had style and class, but very few customers.
Style and class, very few customers. So it's quite a nice looking gallery. There are these glass display cases with many different... What? There's a guy who just went to the front glass of the art gallery, and he looked in, stuck his tongue out, and then went away. Did you notice that? Let's wait for a second. Let's see if he comes back. You can read in reverse, Glee's Gallery. There he is. What the hell is he doing? The same guy just came back, went to the window, the glass window, and yeah, just stuck his tongue out and then went away. It's a weird background figure. Okay, and there he is again. Does the same thing again. So let's look at the display cases.
I couldn't believe it. The pots were marked at 5,000 francs each. As far as I could tell, the pots were almost identical to the one I'd found in Ubier's house.
Oh, you think we might have a really valuable pot there?
Looked like a witch and a headless bust. I had seen better.
Weird. There's some weird pictures.
The wasteland. Too minimalistic for too much money.
These are really weird
Rectangles in a desolate landscape. Highly cubist.
There's the typical artsy-fartsy things, right?
Pots, and more pots. All hugely expensive.
Well, we have a pot. Maybe we can sell it. There's the couple of girls here.
The girls were in a world of their own.
World of their own, but what if we tried to introduce ourselves into their world?
Hi, girls.
Girls goes up to them. They're just laughing.
What's the joke?
あなたはキレてですね。
So, all right.
Okay, fine.
They're supposed to be Japanese, and she said, "Anata wa kirei desu ne," which is weird to say to a guy. You're a beautiful man. Anata wa handsome no. That's probably better. Handsome desu ne, kakkoi desu ne. Yeah, that would make more sense to say to a guy. Kirei, well, but the person saying that is obviously not Japanese because that was a heavy accent on the way she said that. All right, so there's these two figures here. There's a man over here.
He looked like an older version of Labano. The same supercilious expression, the same disdain in his eyes, and the same damned ponytail.
A guy with a ponytail, but it's gray hair ponytail. And then there's a man over here.
He was a pear-shaped guy with a fine display of multiple chins.
Can you say that about people today? They're shaped like a pear. Probably not. It's fat shaming. Who do we want to talk to first? The pear? Let's talk to the pear.
Are you Mr. Glees, the owner?
Good God, no.
Then I guess that must be him over there, right?
Your powers of deductive reasoning astound me.
Okay, well, shall we ask him about Ubier?
Have you heard of Professor Ubier?
Yes, of course.
I was at his house earlier.
If you're going to drop names, you could at least name one worth dropping.
I thought Ubier was a well-respected man.
Why, his last book was nothing but pseudo-intellectual claptrap. The demented ramblings of a drug-dependent has-been.
Jesus, that's a really nasty review. What is the man drinking?
What's that you're drinking?
I'm not sure, but I have a suspicion it might be urine. Glees can't expect a favorable criticism of his gallery when he serves this muck.
That's really harsh, yeah. He really doesn't like the wine then. Shall we show him the pot? What do you think? What does he think?
Would you give me your opinion on this pot, sir?
I'm serving the pot.
Yes, very rapouche.
Rapouche?
Hideous.
He dropped the pot?
What the hell do you think you're doing?
He broke the pot. Let's ask about the pot again.
You smashed my pot.
Certainly, it was not only worthless, it was ugly and offensive.
To you, maybe.
Believe me, I was doing you a favor.
What a pompous ass. Let's kill him. We can ask about the other pot.
What's the difference between my pot and all those other pots?
Yours is broken.
Why, you smug, pompous sloth.
Sticks and stones, dear boy, sticks and stones.
Sticks and stone. We got.
I wasn't going to waste any more breath talking to that pompous blimp. Maybe I could turn the situation to my advantage, and at the same time, get my revenge.
Get a revenge on this guy. Let's look at the smashed pot.
A valuable relic of an ancient civilization lay smashed on the floor. The pot had smashed into too many pieces to retrieve.
Bastard. Why would he do such a thing? Well, talk to Glees here.
The guy was watching me like a hawk.
Let's talk to him. Glees? Hello?
I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Certainly, sir. I'd be most happy to oblige.
You're English?
These days, one prefers to think of oneself as European.
Sure. Whatever you say.
And how precisely may one assist you, sir?
If you only knew what happened 20-something years after. Are you English? These days, you want to refer to yourself as European, but not in the European Union, that's for sure. I don't want to get political. Come on. All right. Let's ask about, well, Professor Ubier first.
Have you heard of Professor Ubier?
Of course. His name is synonymous with Mayan art. A number of these artifacts were supplied by Ubier himself.
Okay. So, we can ask about the stone.
What I really wanted to ask you about was a black stone.
A black stone?
Yeah, it's a Mayan artifact, about as big as my hand.
No, sir, one doesn't get much call for black stones. If it's Mayan artifacts you're interested in, I have some rather exquisite pots.
So did I, until that slob smashed it.
Good point. We can ask about the pots.
I suppose you have an import license for these relics?
Of course. But that's not my problem, sir. The professor arranges all the shipping. We simply collect the items from the docks.
Huh. We can still ask about the professor now again?
Could you tell me which docks Professor Ubier uses to import the artifacts?
Good God, no. I can't possibly reveal my commercial secrets.
Why not? We're not really in the pot game. Let's ask more about the pot.
I have some questions I'd like to ask about those pots.
The Mexican collection? Certainly, sir.
Where did you get them from?
Mexico, of course. I think sir will find the price extremely reasonable.
Hey, I'm not interested in buying them.
Oh, I see. Well, in that case, you'll excuse me.
Wow, and then just stop talking to us. What an ass. These art people. Assholes. There's a credit card machine.
It was a machine for reading credit cards.
Yeah.
I had no possible use for a credit card reader.
We are dealing with a game that's pretty old. 97? Yeah. Didn't really give a big intro on this game like I did with the
Excuse me, sir.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
That area is private.
Oh, so I'm not allowed back here?
No, sir.
Right, we cannot go in the back area there where all the boxes are. Well, that means we need to get rid of Mr. Glees in some way. So let's talk to him again. We need to get rid of you! Alright. Hello? Glees? Let's talk to him. We can ask about Pablo.
Do you get many Central American Indians in here?
No, sir. This is Paris. Central America is several thousand kilometers southwest of here. Straight across the Atlantic Ocean and turn left. You can't miss it.
Well, as it happens, I saw some Central American Indians this very morning.
Tourists, sir. Paris is full of them at this time of year.
Why is he such an ass? These people, asses. Yeah. Let's ask about Ubier's wife.
Do you believe the story that Ubier murdered his wife?
If it was true, who can blame him? She was an opportunist tramp. Well, that's what I heard.
Jesus. Aren't people nice anymore?
Have you seen any of Ubier's wife's films?
Only one. Believe me, I was appalled, shocked, disgusted, and repulsed.
Well, you sure got your money's worth. Last time I went to the movies, I wasn't even titillated.
We're gonna ask about the wine.
There's a gentleman over there who seems to be enjoying your wine.
I can't think why. It was very cheap.
Well, he did call it urine. We got a kind of a musical cue there. That, even though there's this weird glass music going on. I don't know what sounds we're hearing, but let's ask about the news article here.
I found this news story referring to a total eclipse of the sun.
Really, sir? Well, fascinating.
Fascinating. We can not ask him about anything else. So, how are we gonna get a revenge on this guy? The guy with drinking... Hello. Look at the glass.
The glass was half full of wine.
He's been sipping all the time and still half full?
The way that guy was gripping the glass, I'd need a wrench to get away from him.
Yeah, we're not gonna take the... But what if we do something that the gendarme, the ex-gendarme was doing at the cafe? Add some absinthe in his glass? What happens then?
I splashed a little absinthe into the glass and hoped he wouldn't notice the change of color.
Okay.
Did you put something in my drink?
Yeah, I did. What do you think?
Well, it's certainly an improvement over Gleese's wine. In fact, I could grow to like it.
Alright. So he says he can grow to like it. I mean, should we add more to the glass? Let's see.
The glass now held a potent mixture of wine and absinthe.
Okay. What about even more?
Allow me.
Okay. More absinthe. Let's see what happens then. He's drinking. What the? Oh! Fell right over the. Oh, all the pots are broken. The glass only. And the glass guy just smashed. Like, he couldn't believe what he just saw. He had to hit his head. And then you can see the display case is in pieces and the pot's broken.
Fragments of priceless pots lay shattered on the floor.
Nice revenge on this guy. Let's look at the guy.
He was out for the count.
Couldn't talk to him?
I wasn't going to waste my breath on that drunkard.
What about this Glees guy?
Glees wasn't happy, I could tell.
Well, let's not waste any breath on him anymore. He's out of the way, so that means we can go back and look. We have packing cases here.
It was a sturdy packing case.
Is there something there?
There was nothing in the case but styrofoam packing, but pasted on the side was the remains of a label.
Pasted on the side was the remains of a label. Which one? This one? Here it is, a label.
It was a label bearing a company name and logo.
Alright, let's pick up this label here that was on the package.
Underneath the logo of a flying bird were the words Condor Transglobal Mars. The rest of the label was missing.
Destination Paris from Mars. Shall we look at the label once again?
It was a label bearing the name Condor Transglobal.
Condor Transglobal. And it just said from Mars, which doesn't make any sense. The planet? There's no international. It's all a conspiracy. Why am I doing this? Stop it. Alright. No, yeah, obviously it couldn't be Mars the planet, but what could Mars mean? Paris is obviously, we know that. We're in Paris, for God's sake. But okay. So once again, it seems like we might be stuck, but like I told you guys before, in this game you have to kind of examine things again after you pick them to see if they have something hidden. And we have already done it twice. We pick up the note from Nico's bag, and then we had to actually examine and read it to find out it was from Lama. Then there was the pot, right? That was smashed. We had picked up the pot, but then we had to examine it to see the key of the front door. And in this case, this is the hard one. We have the clue about this company Condor Transglobal that seems to be the company where Ubier, I'm trying to say Ubier all the time. It's Ubier with the French accent, Ubier. It seems like, yeah, he's getting all of his artifacts from this from this company, Condor Transglobal. But where? Shall we look at some of the items here? What about this newspaper?
It was the newspaper clipping referring to the imminent eclipse. Wrapped inside it was another small piece of paper.
Hello.
It was a bank statement for Ubier's account from an automatic teller. The last 5 withdrawals were for large amounts, and all made in Marseille. It was beginning to make sense. Oubier had organized Nico's abduction. Oubier withdrew money from Marseille. Oubier was connected with Transglobal, who shipped their goods from a warehouse in Marseille. That's how the torn Transglobal label had once read. Marseille, not Mars. It wasn't much of a lead, but it was all I had. I set off immediately to catch the evening train.
And there we are, gone. Away we go. We have arrived in Marseille.
It was almost dawn when I arrived in Marseille. I traced Condor Transglobal to a desolate dockside.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I hit the keyboard, hit a button on the keyboard and skipped a little bit of what George was trying to say. If you're watching the video, you will see the subtitle there and be able to read it. But I think this is a good ending for episode 1. We've done the first part and we have arrived in Marseille. The clues that we got were this note
It was
here.
Oubier's bank statement.
Oubier's bank statement about all the what was it, withdrawals for the Condor Transglobal.
It was the label I'd found in the Glees Gallery.
That's the label in the Glees Gallery that was the other hint about Condor Transglobal, and then, yeah, obviously, we have the destination from the note, banknote. All right, so I'll stop here. Let's press, let's go up here, press this button here. I'm not gonna quit because I need to save first, so let's cancel this. And I think this is the save option here. Let's try to save the JLR YouTube podcast. Save. It has been saved. If I try to load it, then it's there. Alright. Cancel. So, I'll end it here because actually what happens next then in the next episode, episode 2, is this place, the dock here in Marseille. This is the demo of Broken Sword 2. So, like with the first Broken Sword, Shadow Templars, the first experience was playing the demo. The same thing with Broken Sword 2. I played the demo first before I played the actual game. And the demo was this part here. And at this dock here in Marseille. It was kind of like out of the loop. Why are we at this dock? What are we doing here? But he was just talking about finding Nico. And you know Nico's in trouble. So I'll end it here. Next time, we'll continue in Marseille. And we'll try to find out where Nico is. And try to save her from these crazed Central Americans that want their stone back. But what is this stone about? What can possibly be? Why is this stone so important? Is there any religious element to it? No. Anyways, it's the here. That's the end. So until next time, like I said, you've been watching the JLR YouTube podcast. This has been the first episode of Broken Sword 2, the Smoking Mirror walkthrough and review, and hopefully we'll do this soon again